Are we living in the end times? Many people are asking this question. Matthew records a long section of Jesus' teaching about the signs of the end of the age and his second coming. As part of that teaching, Jesus told a parable in Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 to 13, about a wedding. The cultural setting is a bit different to ours. In a Jewish wedding of Jesus' time, the bride would have remained at home until the evening, when the bridegroom would come from his home to collect her and take her back to his home. The bridesmaids would wait for the shout that the bridegroom was coming and then go out to meet him and escort him and the bride back to the groom's house for the wedding ceremony. The bridegroom would often be late because the two families would be haggling over the bridal price. If they were seen to accept too low a price too quickly, well, that wouldn't reflect very well on the quality and worth of the bride. So this parable of Jesus starts off as a very familiar wedding story with 10 bridesmaids waiting for the shout that the bridegroom was coming. But then it develops in a very unexpected way. That's an indication to the listeners an important point is coming up. It becomes a very surprising story because up until the point that the bridegroom arrives, there appears to be no indication of any outward difference in the 10 bridesmaids. They were all gathered with their lamps and were waiting for the bridegroom to come. But because he was a long time in coming, they became drowsy and they all fell asleep. But at midnight, the shout rang out, "Here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him." When they heard the shout, they all woke up, they trimmed their lamps. But now, in this moment of the bridegroom's sudden arrival, all similarities ended. When the cry rang out, "Here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him," it was immediately obvious that 5 of them were ready to meet him, they were prepared, and 5 of them were not ready. They didn't have enough oil for their lamps and they set out at midnight to try to buy some. But while they were away, the bridegroom arrived, and those who were prepared went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Jesus told this parable as a warning of the urgent need to be personally prepared for his second coming. The question is not, do you believe in Jesus and his second coming? The question is not, have you joined a church? The question is, are you truly born again? Are you living for Jesus now? Are you sure you're ready for his coming? The point of this parable is that the coming of Jesus will be sudden and without warning. Jesus talked about the signs of the last days. Every sign in our world, whether wars, famines, earthquakes, tsunamis, viruses, turmoil and tragedy, these will all mark human history until the day Jesus returns. All of these signs tell us that in times just like this, in times just like we are living now, Jesus will return. It could happen at any moment. This is reality. In that moment, the Bible tells us there will be the shout of the archangel, the trumpet call of God, and then Jesus Christ will appear. It will be instantaneous, and every eye shall see him. In that moment, all similarities between all the people of the earth will be gone, and there will only be 2 groups of people: those who are prepared to meet him and those who are not. It will not be about church attendance. It will not be about religion. It will be about being ready and waiting for his appearing. Are you ready? Are you absolutely sure that you're ready? When Jesus told the part about the foolish bridesmaids asking the wise for some of their oil, but the wise replying that there wouldn't be enough for both of them, he was making one point crystal clear. Each person has to be personally and individually prepared for his coming. When that moment comes, someone else's faith cannot be transferred to you. Every person will stand on his or her own at that moment. The bridegroom arrived, and the 5 bridesmaids who were prepared went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. My friend, those are words of dreadful finality. The door was shut. This is for you a day of grace. Today the door is still open. This is a day when you are still able to prepare yourself for his coming. Today the door is still open for you. Who knows if you will have another opportunity? Oh, you say, surely I will. I can come next week, or I can wait a few more years. You may never have another opportunity. Who of us knows if we will even see another day on this earth? Jesus is speaking to you today. He is calling you to get prepared. I implore you not to ignore his call. This is not a decision only for this life. This is a decision that determines where you will spend eternity. The other bridesmaids eventually came to the door. Sir, sir, they said, open the door for us. Can you feel that moment? Can you sense the desperation and the rising panic? Can you see yourself there banging on that door? Please, please, open the door for me. Let me in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My mother is in there. My father's in there. My brothers, my sisters, my friend. Oh, please let me in. Open the door for me. But Jesus replied, I tell you the truth. I don't know you. Those are some of the most terrible words in the entire Bible. These are words that you never want to hear. Yet these words will be spoken to all who do not make preparations to meet Jesus Christ before he comes again. There will be no negotiating, no bargaining, no bribing. Friends, this is a day of God's favour. This is the day of salvation. This is a time to make your preparations, because on that day, the day of his appearing, the door will be shut and there will be no more opportunities. The door will not reopen. You have heard the voice of Jesus today. The Bible repeatedly warns, when you hear his voice, do not harden your heart towards him. It also says that this is the day of salvation. Today, come to him while you still have time. If you do want to come to him today, he will accept you. You could use this short prayer to help you to come. Dear God, I don't want to be shut out from your presence. My sin has separated me from you, but I believe that Jesus died in my place on the cross. I ask you for forgiveness for my sin. I turn away from it and I come to you. Thank you that you promised to accept me. Help me to live my life in a true relationship with you. Amen. If you've prayed this prayer sincerely and you want further help, please let us know by sending a private message to our Facebook page, Ballymoney Elim Church. Thank you.